Hey, what's up? This is Scott from Cancer Bats. Going to show you my guitar rig. It's pretty simple. Basically, what I'm doing is my main amp is a diesel Herbert. It's 180 watts. I use 6L6 Wing C Svetlana tubes. They're awesome. It's kind of just what I've used since the beginning and gives a nice big round warm tone. I've got two diesel cabinets, sort of the old style front loaded ones. This one's kind of beat up. It's the first one I got, you can see. This one's got vintage 30s in it, and then I've got a second one on the opposite side of the stage that I run, and it has diesel Eminence speakers, some custom ones. I don't really know too much about them other than that they don't make them anymore, but I like how they sound, and having the two different cabinets is pretty cool, so it makes a big wide sound on stage. Pretty much just almost all the time I'm running on channel 3 on this amp. It's it's the lead channel, but it's got really heavy rhythm balls, and I love that. On some of the newer stuff, I'll switch over to channel 2 for some sort of crunchy, almost clean sounds, but not fully clean. I don't really use channel 1 in this band at all, but it's pretty much the best amp I've ever had, and I've had it since about 2005, and it's never broken down on me on the road, so that's kind of a good indication. For the rack stuff, I kind of just run through the Monster Pro 2500 power conditioner. Again, I've had it several years now, and it's lasted me and hasn't broken down like some other power conditioners I've had. So, and then I've got a couple other things. Got a rack tuner, which I use sometimes too. I'm kind of favoring a pedal tuner a little bit more these days, because we tour a lot in Europe, and I just got used to using a pedal tuner because I can't bring this with me. And then also I've got a Rocktron Expression. I kind of use this guy more in the studio. It's just a straight effects processor. Rather than hooking up live, I don't really need it. I kind of do most of my processing just with pedals these days. And then this is an old broken G Major that I have that I just kind of use to keep up the space rather than keep it empty. And it's just a place where it lives. But kind of handle all my noise reduction with the ISP Decimator G-string pedal. And I'm just running my guitar into the input here, and then it has an effects loop section which cancels out all the amp noise, which is pretty much the best thing ever, because otherwise it's humming and hissing, and I don't know. So once I got this pedal, it just totally cleaned up my sound, and I'm eventually going to move on to the rack edition, but I find this is great because we do a lot of flying in to Europe and Japan and Australia and stuff, so having this pedal just gets my rig quiet no matter where I am. And I've had it for a couple years too, and it's lasted me, so and I guess we'll show you my pedal board now. This is kind of my latest addition. It's sort of ever changing. I kind of like trying different pedals all the time. I'm kind of a big pedal nerd this way. As you can see, I'm using a lot of Providence effects, and they're a company from Japan that I just got turned on to earlier this year when we were over there, and I tried a bunch of their pedals. I got the Stampede Overdrive, which is a really sort of natural, transparent sounding pedal, and I just really like how it didn't change my amp tone too much, but gave me a little bit of extra boost and grit. And if I crank the drive, like you see, I've got a little bit more, I can get an almost fuzzy kind of sound out of it, which is cool too if I want it. Otherwise, I can keep it pretty clean. And then recently, they've sent me a couple other pedals, a Sonic Drive, which is slightly more of a tube screamer kind of overdrive with a fat sort of boost circuit in it, but I like it. It's a little bit smoother than a tube screamer, and it's got a lot of tonal versatility, and it's kind of nice to have two different overdrive sounds. And then right now, this spot here is kind of a wild card. Right now I'm trying out the Heat Blaster Distortion pedal, which I kind of just use to beef up sort of heavy chug parts, because it has a lot of beef in the low end. And that's sort of I switch out because I don't use it a ton, but it's kind of cool. And having something like a distortion pedal on the board, again, if I'm doing a fly-out date and I have to use a weird backline or an amp I'm not too familiar with, if I have a distortion pedal where I like the sound and the character, I can kind of make that my tone. And just having something like that on my board just in case is always kind of nice. And then one of the other new ones I got was the Providence Chrono Delay pedal, which I think is really awesome. It's one of the best digital delays that I've used. I just like simple stuff. I don't need a ton of bells and whistles, and this pretty much does simple, really nice sounding digital delay. But I love because it has a tap tempo and two presets. So I can set my tap tempo to BPM or milliseconds if I want, I like BPM because, you know, it's one of those things. It's like we do tempo mapping when we're doing pre-production for the record, so I remember BPMs of certain songs, and I can save those presets. And then you can also see what I've done here is I've run a external tap tempo out across my board over to this Cusack Music, just tap tempo, so I can keep it over here and just tap my tempo in. And then if I want, I can go back here and just switch to a specific preset. And it's really easy, and it has amazing tone. It's one of the best sounding digital delays I've played, so really happy with that. And then once I got into all these other Providence pedals, I kind of saw that they did some true bypass switching and looping, and this is the PEC2 routing system. And so what this allows me to do is put all the pedals in true bypass loops and control them with single tap. So if I want to ever combine any, all I have to do is set up a preset, pressing this, and then I can choose. So preset 1, I've got the blast pedal in, but if I want to add the delay in too, I can do that, and I just hit store, and it's saved like that, and it's super easy. So I can turn on multiple pedals with just one tap. And it's great too because it has MIDI control, which I can send to my diesel and change channels and have lead booths and that kind of thing if I want as well. Also on the board, I've got the POG 2 from Electro Harmonics, which I use a lot on our song called Sleep This Away. And it's sort of a low, crazy octave effect. You can make organ sounds and stuff like that. And I used it a lot in the studio. And it's just a super fun pedal to use live. It just makes it sound really heavy, almost like a distorted bass or something. And I've started using this recently, the Planet Waves Chromatic Tuner. I had the Boss one for a long time, and I broke so many of them. And then one day on tour in Australia, I found one sitting at the side of the stage, and I thought, well, okay, all my other tuners are broken. I'm going to try this one that I found. And I found it just tracks my low tuning way better than any other tuner I've ever had. It just reads my guitar better, and I've kind of just sworn by it ever since for the last year, which is awesome.
What do you tune to?
Drop C. So
for everything?
Yeah, pretty much for everything right now.
Cool.
I think we're going to try some new stuff in the future, but that's kind of just been the solid thing for me for the last few years. And yeah, I don't know, something about this pedal just tracks my low C so much better than every tuner I've ever had. And I tried some newer ones like the TU3, and I couldn't get it to work for the life of me, and this has made me sound way more in tune than anything I've tried, so I'm sticking with that. And then lastly is my Morley Steve Vai Bad Horsey watch, just the first edition, no switches or anything, and it's awesome because you just turn it on just by stepping on it. It's spring loaded, and the second you push down, the wah engages. When you let go, it turns off, and it's just the easiest. Being the only guitar player, having the ability to switch, you know, between wah and just rhythm is just perfect, and that's so key for what I do. And yeah, I love it. It's been the best thing, and it's never broken down on me, so thumbs up. So I'm going to show you some of my guitars now. This is the first custom guitar I ever had made for me. It's made by First Act at their custom shop in Boston, and it's based on their Sheena model, which is funny enough is kind of more their sort of telly style guitar, but I kind of really like the body shape and morphed it into kind of a single cut Les Paul kind of idea. And it's all mahogany all the way through. 2 EMG 81 pickups, volume tone. Got a kill switch here, which is fun to play with. Kind of do some, you know, Rage Against the Machine style, sort of inspired effects rather. Yeah, it's got a set neck and nice and beefy. I've got Spurzel tuners. I broke one, so I've got a black one on there now, which is kind of like a black tooth grin. It's kind of funny.
And you're saying so the neck is mahogany also?
Yeah, it's all mahogany with an ebony board, and you know, bound all the way through. It's really nice. It's kind of taken a bit of a toll on the road, as you can see. It's kind of just all scratched up now, but you know, battle scars, and I still love it. So play it quite a lot. Lately, though, actually, on the last couple tours, I've busted out this guy, which I had retired for a while. It's just one of my favorite guitars I've ever owned. It's a Les Paul Custom from 1987, but the special thing about this guitar is it's a Les Paul Custom Light. So if you look, it's about half the thickness and weight of a regular Les Paul Custom, which is sweet because it doesn't break your back on stage, and it's got a little body contour here, and it's got a nice small neck joint, almost similar to an SG, but on a Les Paul body, so you can really get up on the notes and solo, and it's been great. You know, it's been a bit of a temperamental guitar with you know, something that's, you know, over 20 years old. It's got a bit of fret wear, and I'll probably eventually have to do another fret job, but it's got great tone, and I love the way it plays. And so I've just kind of been bringing this out lately. It's just been an old favorite of mine. Again, 2 EMG pickups, you know, volume tone.
What kind of EMGs you got in there?
Just 2 81s. Yeah, it's pretty much what I put in all my guitars. You know, I just like how it sounds. A lot of people try an 85 or a 60 in the neck. I don't know. The 81 just sounded best to me in both spots. So that's kind of what I've always used. And yeah, this is my latest custom guitar. It's a V from First Act again. So I'm still sort of, you know, working out the kinks in it, and having never played a V guitar before, I'm kind of just learning how much different it is, this body shape, than say, you know, something like a single cutaway guitar, which I'm definitely a lot more used to. You know, larger body balances a bit differently. And I kind of realized that where I had to switch the strap position. You can see I moved it down here because it balances better rather than the horn sort of pulling against the body in a weird way. So it's a lot more comfortable now. Again, it's a mahogany guitar, mahogany neck, but this one I put a maple cap on the neck. Sorry, the body rather, and so it has a bit of that spalted flame look. You can see I've done a little bit of work here, and what's going on is that I've just been switching out pickups, trying to find something that I like. And you know, I've used EMGs in pretty much every guitar I've ever had, but I thought with this one I could try something more. So I tried some DiMarzios, and those were cool, but I think I really missed the active feel, and I happen to have a Seymour Duncan Blackout neck pickup kicking around, and I just tossed that into the bridge the other day, and that's why I don't have the volume and tone. It's missing a pot. I just threw in just the one volume just to make it easy to try out. But again, this guitar's got a kill switch on it, which I like. It's kind of been part of a couple songs we do, so I try and have that, make sure I have a kill switch on all my custom guitars now, because it's just it's become a necessity for some songs. But yeah, I mean, it's been playing great, and it's just getting a little bit more used to playing it on stage, but so far I really like it. It's got a nice beefy neck again. This time, instead of Spurzels, I tried these Grover locking tuners, which are quite similar, but just Grover's version. And I don't know, they seem pretty nice. It's really sturdy, nice sort of, you know, keys. They're familiar. I've had Grovers on a lot of guitars, so I kind of like them. And yeah, I don't know what else really. I'll probably just end up putting EMGs in it later this week, if I'm honest. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty stoked to have my first V, so yeah. Hey, what's up? This is Scott from Cancer Vets. You're watching allaccess.com.